Is anybody here? Sound off if you're here. I can't see. This thing is shit. Hi, Rick. You're first. You don't have to say it. All right, we'll give this a second. I know it's late and I apologize. Let a few more people roll in here. Hi, Jason. We're just going to give it a couple minutes and let a few. At this time of night, I don't expect there to be a lot of people. So if I get 10 people in here, we'll get going. They can watch it later. All right, there's buttons on here. I don't know what they are, so I'm just going to push them. Okay, let's see. I don't know what this one does either. Let's see. Oh, I don't want that. Okay, so we've got Rick, Jason, apparently a couple others. Okay, we're just going to wait for a couple minutes and see if we can get a few more people in here. I apologize for the hour. Welcome, Ken. Okay, so I'm using my tablet this time instead of my phone, and the camera is really bad, as you can see. I like to bring like visual aids, like show and tell, when I do this, and I have a bag of stuff, but you can't see it. I mean, literally, let me see here. I don't think you'll be able to see this at all. Yeah, you can't see anything. I apologize for that. It's just this camera is awful on this thing. So suffice it to say, I do have visual aids for show and tell, but you're not going to be seeing them. I also have a huge list of topics, 2 pages that were submitted. Most of them are from subscribers, a few of them are mine. Marina, are you in here yet? Where's our hammer moderator? Okay, so everybody tell me how the audio is. Can you hear me okay? All right, cool. I was going to give you a heads up. The next video that I put out is going to be about marijuana, but it's probably not what you think. I'll just leave it at that. Should be interesting. Yeah, but there's no such thing as outer space. What about that? So let me look at my notes here and see what I was going to talk about first. Okay, so I guess I should probably talk about the video I put out about fire and paint, because I didn't want to get too specific on it, because I didn't want to get a strike. And I think if you do a video about like burning people alive, you're probably going to get a strike. It's just, there's no easy way around. But it was more than just burning people alive. Obviously, we all know about Molotov cocktails, and those are a great thing against a superior technology. So if people come at you with like an APC, probably the best defense against that would be to obscure their vision so you can't drive it. And paint on the windshield would be a good way to do that, by making basically a Molotov cocktail that's filled with paint instead of gasoline. And if they turn on their wipers, which would probably be the first instinctual reaction, they're just going to make a mess, and then you've basically taken that vehicle out of play. And the same thing with people would be with paintballs. Just aiming for the mask. Anybody that's played paintball and has had their mask shot up, they're going to realize that it pretty much takes you out of play as soon as you get hit in the face with a paintball. You can't see any longer. There's other ways to enhance, like say the Molotov cocktail. I put a picture on of one of those, I don't know what they're called technically, but you pump them and then you spray for weeds, like you put Roundup in them. Well, if you fill those with gasoline and found an area and just basically saturated it with that, and you throw your Molotov cocktail to that area, then the whole area is going to light up, as opposed to just the diameter of the gasoline that spills out of the bottle. So those are just like some stuff I was spitballing with, to think of ways to basically, it's a way of creating havoc and taking the numbers and the technology away from them. So in an example where like UN troops are going door to door, if you had a spot where you had pre-soaked it with gasoline, and as soon as they got into that area, you just lobbed a Molotov cocktail over there. Sorry, I can't talk. You're going to ignite basically a wall of fire. And because I was doing a series on different types of survival weapons with firearms, bladed weapons, bow and arrow, I think the last one was fisticuffs. The next logical progression was, of course, fire and paint. So that's what I was getting at on the video. So if you comment on the video, you kind of know what I was getting at now as far as ways to use fire and paint against a force that may outnumber and also have a technological advantage over you, is just through guerrilla warfare tactics, by neutralizing the things that give them the advantage. Okay, now I'm done. I'm tired of talking. Somebody say something. Yes, you can take replacing the Molotov cocktail gasoline with paint all kinds of different directions. You could fill it with all kinds of things. Yeah, Rick, I would suggest, if you were going to go this route where you were going to set up, say, have 20 Molotov cocktails with gas and 20 with paint, and they're all ready, and you don't do this on your own. You should have a team for sure. if you get their focus on one direction or one individual and somebody, you know, flanks them from the side and hits their APC windshield with blue paint, you know, they're not going to see that coming, and it's going to take the APC out of play. Let's see what else I had here. Let's see the marijuana video, fire and paint. Some stuff about like how many people do we have in here? 8? Yeah, I'm sorry it's so late. Mostly I'm doing this to make sure that I could do this with a tablet. The marijuana video is going to come at it from an angle you're probably not expecting. Let's see. I have a lot of questions here. They're pretty long. Some of the people that submitted topics, they wrote like paragraphs, so I kind of have to break it down to see what the main point was. Yeah, hit and move is like a really good guerrilla warfare tactic where you know, hit them with something that's going to delay them or confuse them or gum up their shit, and then move. Never stay stationary. Medical. There is a medical thing on here about somebody sent me a huge ass email about bleeding and tourniquets and all that. And I would rather, if we ever have somebody on the chat that was like a combat medic, I would rather they talk about that than, I'm not an expert on that stuff. Hey, Jackhammer, what's up? Yeah, we just talked about the fire and paint video and what that was really about. Yeah, Jackhammer Mike just sent me some images for the video I'm doing where I'm having people submit images and video. And I didn't get a chance to look at it real close yet. But it has to do with a topic I've mentioned several times on Bug Out Bags, is having like maxi pads and tampons as part of your medical kit. But he had some really fancy, it was like, what was it, like vacuum sealed? Yeah, I did a video with the super glue. So Mike, you can probably write down kind of an idea, let people know what it is you have there, but to see it, they'll see them in the video. They'll definitely be put in the video. Yeah, he like took maxi pads and vacuum sealed them to where they're like a 1/4 inch thick packages. And then I got a question talking about reloading, and if you should take your reload stuff with you if you bug out. And I don't know, that's just, to me that sounds like a pain in the ass. And where are you going to come up with primers? And it just sounds like you're probably better off scavenging for ammunition at some point. And I have a video I'm going to be doing. I started it like a week ago, called Where to Find Ammo During Shit Hits the Fan. I just haven't worked on it in like several days. Now, red toe. If you're doing reloading, don't you need primers? Like, where do you get those if you're and shit hits the fan. All right, red toe. Yeah, I don't know. I just think you're better off finding ammunition than reloading and shit hits the fan. I think you could probably do it for a while, but especially if you have to leave and haul that shit with you, I think you're better off just conserving ammo when you have it, and then afterwards probably like resupply as you go. Like, you're always going to be on the lookout for ammo once things go south. Yeah, I fix all cuts with super glue. Are we still without Rena? She was texting me, but I think she's busy doing something. Yeah, places are going to get ransacked fairly soon. And just getting to them is going to be really dangerous. That was another topic people brought up was, what was that? Oh, hold on. It had to do with like rebuilding civilization, what they say. Groups are communities during shit hits the fan and the possibility of recovery. Okay, I don't know. I don't trust most people, so it's really difficult for me to talk about groups because I just think men are deceitful in nature by default, so I don't trust them. But as far as recovery, the way I see things going down is initially there would be panic and mayhem and people would be killing anybody and everybody. Eventually that's going to calm down. Then people are going to be so busy after the initial surge. They're going to realize, like, oh shit, I can't just expend all this energy like fighting and killing and throwing shit through windows and stealing televisions or whatever they're going to do. I have to start focusing on food, water, shelter, etc. So then they're going to go through that period, and then that's when like disease will kick in with cholera, and eventually the herds are going to thin a lot. But we will get to a point where people get tired of all of it, and sort of the riffraff or the troublemakers are going to be dealt with, and we will get to a recovery stage. But then you're dealing again with who can you trust? So it's kind of a catch-22. If you survive the initial collapse, then you just have to go with your gut, I guess, as far as who you can trust. I think you can sort of tell when you meet somebody if they're honest and if they're have ulterior motives, or if they're literally scared shitless and looking for someone to team up with to stay alive, as opposed to they have an agenda. In or bug out depends entirely on the circumstance. I would say everybody should initially bug in, but if your bug in location becomes unlivable or too dangerous, you have to bug out. It's all going to depend on what the cause is and what happens afterwards. You might be able to stay where you're at indefinitely, or you might have no choice. And that's when you grab your bolt cutters and you travel at night. Mark Twain. Well, I don't trust anybody now, but if everybody has the mindset of just flat out, I don't trust, then we're not going to get anywhere. there comes a point where you have to use discernment, and you probably will come across some good people. Like I said, if you find somebody and you can tell they are terrified, they're more than likely not going to fuck with you. They're going to work with you, because if they're truly scared shitless. Yeah, I think it'll go in phases. The first phase, I think if you can survive like the first maybe 3 waves, you'll have a shot. I would recommend laying as low as possible for as long as possible once things go sideways. The longer you can stay, I don't know, maybe hidden off the radar, the better your odds. Because a lot of people are going to take each other out. A lot of the riffraff and the ne'er-do-wells, they're going to eliminate each other. I'm good, Nate. How are you? I'm reading your question, Nate. Just a sec. What makes me think silver will be worthless? I never said silver specifically. I'm referring to gold coins. I guess you could say gold and silver. I don't know. I just know that if you are dehydrated and starving, I don't know what you're going to do with gold. Just don't, I don't know what. Yay, I have gold, and now I'm going to die. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned your head on a swivel, because I was going to put on that last video I made, I put that picture from Step Brothers, I think, and it said something like, I think we just are best friends or whatever the hell. I was looking for a image for keep your head on a swivel, and that came up, which had nothing to do with it, I don't think. So that was a sync. Hi, Rena. You've missed some good stuff, Rena. Just kidding. Yeah, I have a lot of ammo and a lot of leads. I've come across a lot of syncs, and so have a lot of the subscribers. I'm getting emails about syncs, and I'm like, you need to talk to Rena. I told a guy that today. I'm like, go talk to Rena. But I just had one today where oh shit, what was it? I was just talking about, and somebody commented, and it was the exact same thing. And that happened last week. I told you about that one. I don't remember what it was about, but it was really good. Yeah, Bible Bullets and Beans. That's somebody that sent in an image for the video that I'm making of all the images and videos of subscribers, and somebody set up a Bullets, Bibles, and Beans and took a photo. It's really cool. I look forward to getting that video made because people are sending in some really cool stuff. I need some more video though. Who is it? I think, shit, was it Jackhammer Mike? Are you the one that sent me that video on the shooting range? Are you asking me if I know what transhumanism is, or somebody else? Potted meat on a Ritz. Yeah, Jackhammer Mike sent in like this really. You guys are gonna love this video. It's very cool. What make and model is that AR? The Colt, nice. So, I take it you're in California. It seemed like you were limited in your magazine capacity. Transhumanism is not a conspiracy. It's an agenda. Help me, Rena. I'm so bad at these comments. Thank you, Sapper's Roll. Oh, I'm getting a lot of people asking. There will be another viewer comment video coming. It won't be too much longer. I honestly thought when I started making those that people would start like putting comments in that were they were trying to get on the video, like complete nonsense. But the weirdly weird, messed up comments have actually slowed down recently. They're not that bad. I still get a few, and I put those aside for the video, but overall, I haven't had a lot of really... I had one today that was completely messed up, but overall, just not getting the amount of really nutty shit that I was getting a while back. Oh, okay, so you have 30... Because it... Okay, I'm glad to know you're not limited to a 10-round AR. That would suck. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they ran for the hills, but they've certainly slowed down. I really was expecting the comments to pick up trying to get on a video, but probably doesn't hurt that I've banned a few people recently because they're just complete idiots. I initially was never going to ban people, but there's lines that get crossed, and they're going to counterattack. Yeah, probably. That's okay. If they counterattack, then that next viewer comment video will just be released sooner. Oh, the nuke thing. Yeah, that's all horse shit. Yeah, it looked like you were in either Arizona or New Mexico or Eastern California. I can see using 10 rounds in an AR if you're doing drills. Right now, Rena's my only moderator because we don't really need him. Everybody here's really cool. Tony S isn't here, so things are pretty mellow. Don't get me started on Flat Earth. We don't have time. Yeah, I saw the cactus. I didn't know if they might grow, way east in California as well. Oh, are you talking about Joe? I don't know where Joe's at. He always comments on the videos right away, but maybe it's a little late for him. Well, NASA lies because they're making shit up. It's not real. NASA is an offshoot of Disney. Why? $52 million a day, that's why. Yeah, hey, when I get back to New Mexico, I might take you up on that. Well, I'm from New Mexico, and I used to live in Arizona, so the temperature doesn't bother me. Good night, last man standing. Yeah, I lived in Arizona when I was in the military. I apologize again, everybody, for starting this so late. Mostly, I was just seeing if my tablet worked audio-wise, but I figured I have a lot of stuff here to go over. Um, yeah, I have a question for people. This is just something that I was wondering. Is Steve, excuse me, is TiVo still a thing? Do people still TiVo shows? There was this thing the other day. I don't know why I thought of TiVo, and I was just like, is that still a thing? Yeah, I don't watch TV either, but like the whole TiVo thing, I just remember when maybe TiVo didn't exist in this reality. Does anybody remember that thing they did? I think it was a social experiment that they were in fact fucking with us. Does anybody remember it was like in the 80s when you'd watch like a commercial and then at the very end this voice would come on and go, "We're Beatrice." Does anybody remember We're Beatrice? A, what the fuck was that? And B, why did it just stop? Just it started and it was everywhere, and then it just like somebody flipped a switch. If everything was Beatrice, how could it just disappear? Am I dating myself? Does anybody remember We're Beatrice? Yeah, but do you remember We're Beatrice? Jackhammer, you probably remember that. Is that was fucking weird or what? Yeah, I remember Hee Haw. Am I alone with the We're Beatrice thing? I wonder if I could even find it on the internet. It seems like a social experiment now that you look back on it. Like they just tried it to see, I don't know what the agenda was, but then it just stopped. We're Beatrice. I just remember I was young and I was like, who the fuck is Beatrice? And why is it everywhere? So we got Weird Beatrice, we've got TiVo, which nobody's quite sure if TiVo still exists or if it ever existed in this reality or not. Um, I had something else I was thinking of at work the other night, but people will probably think I'm completely insane, so I might just keep it to myself. Somebody Google Weird Beatrice and see if they can find out. I wonder if YouTube, anybody's like took something off an old VHS tape and like put it on YouTube. How do you spell it? I think it was Beatrice. But you have to put the weir in front of it. Weir Beatrice. Yeah, see, TiVo just sort of like vanished. Like it was, everybody was like, oh, I TiVo'd it. And I haven't heard anybody say TiVo in like 3 years, at least. It's like, what replaced TiVo if everybody was TiVo and everything, and suddenly it just stopped? Yeah, We're Beatrice. See if you can find like some audio or some video of that somewhere. Well, yeah, TiVo was a DVR. So what replaced it? Just like the cloud? So if Beatrice was the parent company, what were they the parent company of? It seemed like everything was Beatrice, like they owned the whole fucking world. And if they owned everything, where did they go? PSYOP? Did anybody here watch the documentary I posted on the Gray State, The Rise? Oh, Nate found something. It's a cultic. Of course it is. That's why it was in everybody's home for like a year and then just vanished. Oh, Nate's gonna go down the rabbit hole of Beatrice. Report back to us. Yeah, that video. I hesitated like mirroring it because it's 2 hours long, and I was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna watch this, but I watched the whole thing, and I was like, you know what? If 5 people watch this, it's worth mirroring. I was talking to Rena when I was watching it last night, and I think I talked her out of watching it. Rena is a very cool dude. Yeah, Aunt B from Mayberry. I don't know. Yeah, it probably was Beatrice. I just remember Aunt B. I knew that there was going to be some Weird Beatrice on YouTube. That's awesome. Yeah, I just always thought that We're Beatrice was either a social experiment or some sort of psyop. Like to see who was paying attention, who would like notice it, who would question it, like, what the f this thing? And then it just stopped. So what have we learned so far? We're Beatrice was some sort of an occult ritual, and nobody knows if TiVo exists anymore. It may not. Probably doesn't. Maybe We're Beatrice was the beginning of iPet Goat 2. Ain't B. Yeah, iPet Go 2 is... I think Rena's pretty well versed in iPet Go 2. I've watched a lot of videos on it, but she's probably better at it than me. So TiVo is still a thing? Okay. They're just what, hurting? Yeah, everything's spooky. Spooky action from a distance. Isn't that what Einstein said? Hello, Nick. Good for you, Nate. Do it. Yeah, we did the fire thing already. Yeah, a lot of people don't see the correlation between prepping and what's happening in the world in regards to the cabal and the NWO. That's the reason we're going to need our prepping skills. Yeah, when I get time, I'm going to read that email, Jackhammer, and then those photos are definitely going to be in the video. What else do I have on my giant list of topics? All right, we did the fire and paint. We did the... I told you about the next video I'm putting out about marijuana. We did how to trust people and the possibility of recovery during shit hits the fan. We did that. Okay, so someone asked me, well, let me catch up on the chat real quick. So someone sent me an email that said, it's about acquiring the skills to make you valuable during shit hits the fan. It's one thing to watch YouTube videos, but most people don't know how to actually do these skills. And, you know, where do you find teachers that can teach you these things and all that? I don't know. I don't know. There's not one answer for that. But it did make me think about, and I was thinking about doing a video on this, but I don't know how you do a video on it. But one thing I suggest people do is, how many people are aware of what primitive camping is? Not glamping. It's the opposite of glamping. It's primitive camping. Primitive camping is what I used to do in New Mexico because, well, the weather and the terrain and stuff allowed it. And so what I would do is I would take a backpack and I would put whatever I could fit in that backpack, and I would just head out into the wilderness for like 3 days. And if I didn't have what I needed, I had to figure out a way to make it happen to live for those 3 or 5 days or whatever. That is my suggestion to people for practice. You need to just go out in the wilderness with what you can carry on your back and live for 3, 5, 7 days on just what you can carry. And if you can do that, that's a good start. Yeah, I saw you had a pretty sweet harness on too there, Jackhammer. But yeah, my suggestion is people go out by themselves, don't take anybody with you, with just the backpack and what you can put in it, and live out in the woods or the desert, wherever you're at, for, you know, a week if you can, or at least as long as you're allowed, you know, based on your circumstances. Let people know where you're headed to and tell them, like, hey, if I don't come back, you know, I'll be along the river, so just, you know, if I get lost, just patrol the river, I'll be there, or whatever. You know, let somebody know where you're going to be. Leave your cell phone at home and just go. What lesson did you learn, Nate? Yeah, what kind of garage door is it? Just like aluminum? I would just drive through the fucker. I mean, if it's really shit, it's a fan. A garage door's not keeping me in. I'm just backing through it. I mean, got to do what you got to do. Hey, Glock 19, what's up? I wouldn't even mess with a fire axe. I just drive through it. And in all honesty, you probably wouldn't even, if there's other cars in there, I don't know if you were like in a garage that's your own garage or whatever. If it's a large thing, you probably won't even have to do it. Somebody else will drive through it for you. Oh, you couldn't get to your car? Hmm. Yeah, it's going to depend on the quality of that garage door. I'm sure you could get through it. I mean, you only have to make a big enough hole to fit through. Yeah, you don't have to take the whole door down. You just need to get yourself through it and let your car do the rest. Well, he couldn't get to the car to drive through the garage door because it's inside and he was outside. He can't get to it from the inside. So you just have to, like I said, make a hole big enough to squeeze in there, and then use your car, back it out, tear the door down. You know what? You might actually have a beef with whoever owns the apartment complex, because that's a fire hazard. If you drove into there and there was a fire and it cut the power, you would be stuck inside your car, inside a garage, unable to get out, and you would potentially burn alive in your garage. So you might even have some sort of complaint to file there. Hey, Six Gun, would you did you lengthen your name? Well, don't worry about it, Six Gun. I'm not going to make that video anytime real soon. I'm waiting for more video to come in. I'll probably release like one more video letting people know about it before I start putting it together. Yeah, there's a rumor floating around that Rena's thinking about getting some bolt cutters. Nice. Good job, Nick. You can take a picture of those and send them in for the video. A jackhammer's gorging on potted meat. I wouldn't say I'm obsessed with bolt cutters, I just value their usefulness. I brought a bag of stuff with me, like I was saying earlier, for show and tell, but the camera on this tablet won't pick up. I can't get it light enough in this car to show you the stuff I brought. Nothing replaces bolt cutters.